3FM 92.7. Urban Lifestyle Radio Station.
It's 6 o'clock. Hello and welcome to the morning news here on 3FM 92.7. This news is also live on Kesmi 107.1 FM. I am Enyonam Haligah. Coming up this morning, economist backs President John Dramani Mahama's sentiment on cedi, calls currency gains unsustainable.
What we are seeing, even though the cedi has been depreciating, it's not as sharp as it has been in the past. So there's obviously a correction going on.
Also, civil society organizations slam Mahama's response to Galamsey demand targeted state of emergency.
The issue is, are the solutions on the ground now, as he's talking about, working as we expect? And we all know the obvious answer is no.
And March later, Kusasi and Mamprisi leaders signed peace pact to end ethnic tension in Kumasi. We have details of these and other stories. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Now to the details. Economist with the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Patrick Isumen, has backed President John Dramani Mahama's recent comments on the cedi's performance. He says the sharp appreciation of the cedi earlier this year was never sustainable, and what is being seen now is a simple correction. President John Mahama, in a media encounter on Wednesday, September 10, 2025, reviewed a pattern in which companies secured foreign exchange from commercial banks to pay for goods but failed to deliver them into the country, which led to the depreciation of the cedi.
The president had spoken earlier, appearing to suggest that, the true value of the cedi should be something between, or the dollar should be selling between 10 and 12 cedis. That represented such a sharp appreciation that it was always not going to be sustainable. So now what is happening is more or less a correction, because I think, it was hard to believe that the true value of the cedi was around the 10 that it was trading. But I think the point that he makes, which is that it's very important to prevent sharp depreciation and sharp appreciation, is correct, which was why it was such a mystery that the BOG intervened to bring such a sharp appreciation of the currency in such a short space of time. So now there's been a realization that that's obviously not sustainable. So what we are seeing, even though the cedi has been depreciating, it's not as sharp as it has been in the past. So there's obviously a correction going on, but that correction is being paced such a way that it doesn't become too disruptive. So in the main, I think that what the president is saying is quite accurate.
That was economist Professor Patrick Isumen there. Now, environmental group Arocha Ghana says the president's assurance on illegal mining are not convincing, as rivers, forests and communities remain under threat. This comes as civil society organization Coalition Against Galamsey criticized President John Dramani Mahama's inspiring response to illegal mining crisis, saying his refusal to declare a state of emergency shows a lack of urgency in tackling the menace. Arocha Ghana is calling for a targeted state of emergency in affected areas.
We all listen to the president, and as to whether we are convinced or not, I think when you are in the field, when you see what is happening to our communities, when you see what is happening to our rivers, when you see the pressure that is on our forest reserves, then you understand why we do not have to just take what the president is saying on face value. Because if the solutions on the ground now are working, nobody will come and be insisting or pushing that the government should put in place a targeted state of emergency. We've been here before where governments have said, okay, we're going to have Vanguard. There was even an imposition of a one-year moratorium on small-scale mining and all of that. But still, this issue has escalated and it has kept growing and becoming more and more, even more dangerous for all of us. So the issue is, are the solutions on the ground now, as he's talking about, working as we expect? And we all know the obvious answer is no. And that is why we cannot keep doing the same thing and expect that we'll have some results. And that's why we believe that the only thing that we have not tried and we are failing to try is we placing a targeted state of emergency.
That was Deputy Director of Arocha Ghana, Daro Bosuna. Away from illegal mining, leaders of the Kusasi and Mamprasi communities have signed a formal peace pact committing to end the long-standing ethnic tensions that recently turned deadly. The pact is aimed to preventing a spillover of the Boko conflict into the streets of Kumasi.
The recent targeted killings in Asawasi sent shockwaves through the community. 2 lives lost, fueling fears that the distant conflict from Boko had found a new battleground in Kumasi. The incident plunged relations between the Kusasi and Mamprasi factions to a new low, deepening suspicion and tension. Although calm has now returned, security presence remained visible in the area. A committee tasked to probe the incident moved quickly to mediate. After hearing grievances from both sides, they brokered a crucial peace agreement signed on Thursday by leaders of both groups.
We are assuring the whole people in Kumasi municipality, especially the Zongo side, such a thing will never happen again. We'll be the first and the last. Though, beginning, we don't know that people are coming outside Kumasi, mingle with us to cause the problems and run away. Today, we have gotten even to identify. We know some of them, or we're already victimized them to police. And we are assuring the police to help us.
The Ashanti Regional Chairman of the National Peace Council, Reverend Dr. Amu Abedu Emmanuel, stressed the importance of peaceful coexistence among the two groups.
We are all happy that they agree to live together and also try to also give early warning signs when they see signs about some of the speculation. Because one thing about conflict is about perception and fear.
And with the pact signed, the Ghana Police Service is hopeful but vigilant, viewing this as a critical first step in a longer process.
So the assurance to the committee is that when they go, they will talk to their youth, they talk to their women, so that they are already married, so that we don't hear any bad news in respect of murders and other things in the region. Basically, that was the reason why this committee was set, and then the meeting was also very successful.
That was a report by colleague Ibrahim Abubakar. Now to some other stories. The Greater Accra Regional Police Command has arrested one suspect and impounded an ambulance carrying dried leaves suspected to be cannabis. According to the police, efforts are underway to apprehend other suspects involved in the incident.
On September 10, the Greater Accra Police Command, acting on sustained surveillance, intercepted a Hyundai H1 private ambulance with registration number GX 27720 in front of Jamboree Drinking Sports at Labadi in Accra. Upon examination, 700 parcels and 473 wrappers of dried leaves suspected to be cannabis were found in the vehicle. According to the Accra Regional Police Command, the ambulance, loaded with suspected narcotics, had been transported from Pando in the Volta region to Accra for onward distribution. The head of public affairs at the Accra Regional Police Command, Superintendent Juliana Nobin, said further investigations revealed that the suspect purchased the vehicle and later fitted it with a sarin.
Now, this operation is part of our ongoing commitment to combat drug-related crime and maintain public order. While we are limited in what we can share with you at this stage of our investigations, we believe that transparency is crucial, and we would provide as much information as is appropriate at this time.
The suspect is currently in police custody for further interrogation.
That was my colleague Armstrong Gold Alobe. Now, before we go, the former Attorney General and Minister for Justice Godfred Yeboah-Dame has condemned what he describes as intolerance of free speech under the Mahama administration following the arrest of NPP Bono Regional Chairman Kwame Bafo, also known as Abronye. Now, Abronye has been charged with false publication and offensive conduct that has been remanded in police custody following comments he allegedly made against the IGP, Christian Tete Yohunu.
According to police prosecution, the Bono NPP chair stated on a television platform that all strategic meetings conducted by the National Democratic Congress at Akwetia ahead of the by-election had the Inspector General of Police in attendance. He was arrested on Monday after honoring an invitation by the police and subsequently arraigned before the Circuit Court on Tuesday. His mode of transport, however, attracted public interest as he was hauled before the court in the Ghana Police's iconic prison on wheels, referred to as the Black Maria. He was denied bail after the prosecution indicated that more time was required to complete the investigations. Reacting to the development after visiting Abronye at the CID headquarters in Accra, former Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame noted that the incumbent administration was charting a dangerous precedent.
There ought to be tolerance for free speech. Do you understand? And the level of intolerance of this administration is very reprehensible. They don't want to condone the democracy. If a person says something that at least we should find offensive, then you quickly deploy the criminal justice system to pick the person up and lamp the person in custody and all that.
That was a report by my colleague Lord Edward Sari. That will be all for this morning's bulletin. For more news, please check our website at 3news.com. I am Enyonam Haligah. Business News is right up.
The best in the morning is on 92.7 Sunrise on 3FM.
And hello there, good morning and welcome to the business news on Sunrise. Coming up.
What they are doing is illegal work, because if you want to do legal work, you go to Register General, check all the shop, and you know who owns the shop.
Ghana's trading hubs, Guta and Nigerian traders face off over retail rights with national investment laws on a coalition course with ECOWAS regional protocols. But what do the laws say? We'll bring you an explainer. And Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council hails Ghana's cedi stabilization as key boost for investor confidence. We hear from Chairman Lord Marland.
What the President announced yesterday is a very good and sensible and encouraging. Stable currency allows people to invest.
I am Michael Obodu. Details of these and many other stories coming up shortly. Please don't go anywhere. Thank you so much for your time. Straight into our top story, and Ghana's major trading hubs, Abosokai and Okaishi, have once again become flashpoints of tension. The Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA, is clashing with Nigerian traders over who has the right to operate in Ghana's retail space. At the heart of the impasse are two conflicting set of rules: Ghana's national investment laws and ECOWAS regional protocols. The following explainer report explains their intricacies.
It's a battle that has simmered for years.
On one side, the Ghana Union of Traders Associations, GUTA, insists that Ghana's Investment Promotion Center Act, GIPC Act 865, reserves petty trading exclusively for Ghanaians. By law, foreigners must invest at least $200,000 and employ 10 Ghanaians if they want to operate in retail. On the other side, there's the fact of what the ECOWAS protocols on free movement and establishment direct. Those treaties signed by Ghana itself guarantee all African citizens the right to live and work and establish businesses in any member country without discrimination based on nationality.
It's not fair. nations are governed with laws. If you do not go rule by the law, then there's disorder, such as the one that you are showing.
Yes, they bring goods, they put higher price. But most of Nigerians, even 10% you get, you took it. But I don't understand why Ghanaians are always talking about this issue of this thing. You understand me? This Nigeria, they make market very simple for us.
The flashpoints are Abosokai, famous for spare parts, and Okanshi, a hub for cosmetics and textiles. Here, Guta members have repeatedly demanded the closure of Nigerian-owned shops, citing unfair competition. Nigerians, in turn, appeal to the government and to ECOWAS for protection as stipulated under Supplementary Protocol on the Right of Establishment, Article 4, which states community citizens shall have the right to engage in and carry out non-salaried activities and to exercise the professions of their choice subject to the rules and regulations applicable to the nationals of the host member states. The exemption in this clause is only for activities connected to the exercise of official authority, that is the judiciary, armed forces and the civil service, which remain reserved for citizens.
The IPC law is a local law in Ghana that protects the interests of the locals.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. But when we go further to look at this treaty, ECOWAS protocol on residence, movement, residence and establishment, you find out that it gives any other ECOWAS citizen some leeway.
The shop belongs to my wife. What they are doing is illegal work, because if you want to do legal work, you go to Register General, check all the shop, and you know who owns the shop.
Caught in the middle is the government of Ghana, torn between enforcing its domestic laws and respecting ECOWAS obligations. A breach of either could have serious consequences: loss of investor confidence locally, diplomatic tensions with Nigeria, Ghana's biggest West African trade partner, and be in breach of the Vienna Convention Article 27 that Ghana is a signatory to, which explicitly says internal law cannot override treaty obligations. Experts say the solution may lie in redefining petty trading to protect vulnerable local traders while allowing ECOWAS citizens to operate formal businesses if they are properly registered, taxed, and deploy Ghanaians. There are also calls for dialogue, bringing together Guta, Nigerian traders, the Ministry of Trade, and ECOWAS mediators to agree on fair rules and prevent street-level confrontations.
For now, the impasse remains unresolved, but with Ghana's markets at the heart of livelihoods and ECOWAS unity at stake, how this dispute is settled could set a precedent for cross-border trade across West Africa. Now, away from that, the chairman of the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council, Lord Marland, has commended government efforts to stabilize the local currency, describing them as a key driver of investor confidence. The cedi opened the year at approximately 14 cedis to the US dollar and appreciated to 10.50 and now trades at around 12 Ghana cedis.
Despite the recent depreciation, President John Mahama says the currency is now reflecting its true market value following an earlier rally. He added that government remains committed to capping annual depreciation at not more than 5%. Speaking to journalists during his visit to Ghana, Lord Marland said the president's remarks offer renewed assurance to the business community.
What the president announced yesterday is a very good and sensible and encouraging. A stable currency allows people to invest against their own currency, knowing that if they put £1 in and it was the same value as is against the local currency it is today and as it is when it comes out, then that gives great confidence to outwards investment.
On the government's flagship 24-hour economy initiative, Lord Marland described the program as commendable, saying it provides a framework that encourages investment and economic participation.
A lot of countries are working on the 24-hour economy, but I think it's very exciting. Getting people back to work, getting people working, it is the only way that you can get productivity, obviously, investment, and you get growth in the economy. And that's what your president's seeking to achieve. And I commend the government for trying to do that. It's a positive message.
That was chairman of the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council, Lord Marland. Now, Ghanaian economist Professor Stephen Adai says he remains skeptical about the government's 24-hour economy initiative. He says unless the government is deliberate towards providing what is needed for business models to survive, he is unsure of the viability of the initiative. His comment comes as Cabinet approves the 24-hour Economy Authority Bill for submission to Parliament. Professor Stephen Adai was speaking at the Success Hub Executive Business and Development Summit held in Accra.
The executive business meeting attracted seasoned economists, business owners, and academicians, and is aimed at positioning the youth on how to begin their own startups. The government's 24-hour economy flagship program is anchored on 8 pillars, including Aspire 24, which seeks to build human capital in development, investing in skills training, education, and entrepreneurship. And economist Professor Stephen Adai agrees that the 24-hour economy could be a game changer, but the necessary incentives needed for its success must apply.
People are upscaling their businesses so that they can have 3 shifts. But I believe that any businessman who has got the market and can make profit will go from 1 shift to a 2nd shift to a 3rd shift.
Vice Chancellor of the Accra Technical University, ATU, Professor Mevi Akapovi, who also involved in the drafting of policy, said creating more entrepreneurs in Ghana will reduce unemployment.
Productivity is expanded to cover the many remaining hours in the day. It has the potential to increase productivity and to also further giving rooms for more jobs. And I think that's a solution to reduce the unemployment as we move forward.
CEO of Success Hub, Kingsley Kweku Pinkra, said over 500 young entrepreneurs will be trained and given a boost to start their own businesses under the Bold Start initiatives.
We are not scaling. Hardly can you or do you need to extend your working hours? You'll be needing more working hours if we expand it. And we need to support entrepreneurs in Ghana for it to be possible.
Now, away from that, the management of SIC Financial Services Limited has announced a 20% salary reduction for its managing director and all staff effective October 25. The move comes shortly after President Mahama's administration appointed US-based economist Dr. Saad Idrisu to act as managing director of the struggling state-owned company. According to the acting MD, the decision forms part of broader cost-cutting measures aimed at salvaging the struggling firm and restoring investor confidence. This report has the details.
SIC Financial Services Limited is implementing drastic measures in a bid to restore stability and rebuild confidence in the company. In a statement signed by Acting Managing Director Dr. Saad Idrisu, the company revealed that the Managing Director and all staff will face a 20% salary cut starting October this year. The move, management says, is to streamline operational expenses and align with ongoing restructuring efforts to bring the firm back to glory. Despite the challenges, SIC FSL insists it remains open to new business and will be rolling out new products by the end of the 4th quarter of 2025. Management is also appealing to government for support to safeguard the investments of clients while urging debtors, including contractors and SMEs, to honor their obligations once payments from government contracts are received. The company stressed that cooperation from all stakeholders is crucial to its recovery and long-term success.
And that was the 3 Business News Desk report. We'll turn our attention now to the currency and the commodities market and bring you updates.
On the interbank foreign exchange market, the dollar is selling at 12 cedis 13 pesos. It gained 2 pesos. The British pound is selling at 16 cedis 45 pesos. It gained 5 pesos. The euro is selling at 14 cedis 23 pesos. It also gained 4 pesos. However, be guided that these figures could be higher at a forex bureau near you. On the global commodities market, Brent crude is trading at $66.27 per barrel. It lost $1. Gold is trading at $3,635 per ounce, down by $5. Cocoa is trading at $7,528 per ton, up by $60.
And those were updates from the currency and the commodities market, bringing an end to the business news on Sunrise. For more business stories, please visit our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe.